Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm Caliban, I'm the noob, and it's Hot Gir Summer!
Woo! Spring break! No, wait, summer break! Wrong thing! We're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is a part of the Just Enough Trope Network.
Episode 20.
I know. Can you believe it?
I can't. And we've been going for a while, 20 episodes.
Yes.
And we've got 60 episodes to go. We got more episodes to go. But 20...
I think it might be 20 more. I think there's 40 total.
20 episodes in.
Yes.
And we're no closer to like any answer to any... I feel like we should do some kind of like check-in. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's a fantastic
Maybe before we get
idea.
started, I want to do a what is going on here segment.
Okay.
Where we talk about what is going on here. And I think maybe every 5 episodes from now on, we should check to see like what we think is actually happening or what is going to happen in this series. Because remember, I don't know anything about this show.
I know.
I'm the noob. And I don't read episode descriptions. Or like the back of the box. You know, sometimes they're written with the perspective of the entire series in mind. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know nothing. I know that there's eventually a sailor for every planet. I know that. There's a white Luna at some point. There's some race cars. And one season, all the bad guys scream, "Lovely!" when they die. That's all I know about this show. I don't know anything.
That is all correct.
So I want to talk about what has been going on and what I think is going to happen. And then I guess you're just going to sit there with a stone face like Mount Rushmore.
Oh my God, what am I going to do?
And not say anything.
Okay, well.
Put this bag over your head. So
Should I just go like this? Cover my
here's
mouth?
what I think, do whatever you have to do. Here's what I think is going on here.
Okay.
So we've got this Sailor Moon and the Sailor Scouts. I think there's some good force. I don't know what it is that sent Luna out. I don't know why she's a cat. I don't know if they're from heaven, like if they're angels like Michael Landon or whatever. But I think they're the objectively good side, and they're supposed to find a princess who I don't think is going to be a sailor. I don't think that she's a sailor princess or Princess Asteroid Belt or whatever. But I don't know what this princess is. Like maybe she represents like this force of good or something like that. I don't know. They're opposed by the Dark Kingdom, who also I don't think that they're like Satan and his demons or whatever, but they have a great ruler.
Right.
And I think that it's more generally that they're all evil, spooky spirits, you know, in the Eastern Asian tradition. And they've got a gemstone theme going on for some reason. Maybe because they're inside from the earth. I don't know. So Usagi, Ami, and Rei are 14-year-old girls, but the Sailor Scouts pre-exist them. They're pre-existing. They're like some kind of warrior spirits, you know, connected to the cosmos or the stars or something like that. Maybe they lived a long time ago, or maybe they're demigoddesses or something, and they're connected to the good place. And they imbue these worthy girls, you know, with powers to fight evil. And Tuxedo Mask, this is a tough one. I think Mamoru is Tuxedo Mask, but I don't think he knows that he's Tuxedo Mask. I think when it's time to fight evil, or more often to save Usagi's butt, he just becomes Tuxedo Mask, but he's not aware of it. It's like how Carol Danvers used to be in her early days as Miss Marvel. Like they would switch off. Mm-hmm. As for what a Tuxedo Mask is, I don't know. But I think that he and Sailor Moon, not Usagi, the Sailor Moon part of her, were like lovers a long time ago in their earlier incarnations. And Umino is definitely going to be behind the sarin gas attack in 1995 on the subway.
Whoa.
I know all these things, but that's what I think. I don't know, but that's what I think is going on here.
Okay. I'm not exactly sure how I'm supposed to react.
You're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to introduce the next episode.
Okay. So thank
Dre.
you so much for your predictions. Today we are talking about episode number 20, natsuyo, umio, seshunyo, omake ni yure moyo in Japanese, the summer, the beach, youth and ghosts, the English translation, and no English title as it was not included in the original Deke dub.
You have to do it right, though. The summer, the beach, youth, and the ghost, too.
Yeah, that's how they did it in the episode. You're right. The summer, the beach, youth, and ghosts.
Is there a is there a spooky font in Japanese?
I don't know the answer to that. I guess I'd be surprised.
Is there a spooky font in English? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'd be surprised if there wasn't, like a spooky thing. Because, there's so many, traditions of Japanese ghosts.
Well, there's so many things
like
that I'm not saying we have an equal amount of significance and fun and creativity in our cultures. But it's really easy for typesetters and graphic designers to just put the drippy font, it's blood, and that means spooky.
Yes.
What do the Japanese do when they're like, it's a Halloween sale?
Well, I don't.
What's a spirit Halloween store like in Japan?
I don't think they have them.
No, they just have in a Shibuya station. There's a year-round Halloween store, right? It's just got creepy.
It's just what is the chick called from The Ring? It's just her, just costumes of her.
Samara?
Yeah, I think it's Samara.
Or is that Hugo Weaving's niece? Maybe they're both the same.
Good point. Yes. Do you want to give us a brief rundown of this episode?
It's going to be real brief.
Okay.
This is another weird episode.
I agree.
And I think Deke made the right choice on this one. It has nothing to do... there isn't anything I can think of that would be objectionable. I think it literally just has nothing to do with our story.
Oh, I see your point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But which is weird because what does just some cartoon company that's bought a Japanese show and needs to just pack it onto, weekday morning TV or whatever?
Yeah.
Why do they care? But it's just very... I've complained about this, I think, on this show before, but it's this is Sailor Moon. I don't know what you're watching, but I'm watching Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
So I don't like it when other characters come in and try to backdoor pilot their own thing.
Yeah.
I might want to watch Spooky Hotel if it was its own show, but I don't want to watch Spooky Hotel on Sailor Moon. I'm watching Sailor Moon.
Yes.
So forgive me if I'm a little prejudiced against this episode going forward. I think it's... here's a spoiler. Yeah. I think it's a cute episode, but... For the most part, like I said, I think this is a skipper. If you were going to... Once you've watched all of Sailor Moon, if you're going to go back through and watch Sailor Moon again, I think you can skip this episode.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It's definitely skippable.
Now let's do it instead of skipping it.
All right.
The girls are going on a summer holiday.
Yes.
Isn't there school in summer in Japan?
They do have a summer break.
Immediately there's... Yes, absolutely there is.
There is school through part of it, but their summer break is about 6 weeks long.
So there's got to be a mad rush for vacation spots and stuff. Then.
It is an incredibly popular time of the year to travel within Japan. So it's actually suggested that if you are traveling out from a different country to Japan, probably not the best time to do it because you're going to be competing with a lot of Japanese families who are on vacation as well.
Well, I can't believe Ami doesn't have summer school or cram school or something like that. But anyway.
Oh, God, she probably does.
So the girls are off somewhere else. They're out of Tokyo.
Yes.
Naru is not with them. Maybe she's still in the hospital. They took her to the hospital at the end of last episode.
I know.
I don't think we talked about that. But anyway, Luna explains that they're not here to have fun. They're here to hone their powers and fighting skills.
Yeah, do training.
Which they never end up doing.
I know.
For the fight against the Dark Kingdom. And it's okay, sure. I hope they're going to face the Dark Kingdom in a beach volleyball contest because that's what these girls plan to do this entire time.
Yes.
And that's pretty much what they do. The girls have reserved a pension, which I'd never heard of, but it's apparently a kind of boarding house. It's like a step up from a hostel. You get your own room, but there aren't a lot of amenities. And this is really weird. Check this out. We see them coming out of the train station, and it says, the captions say, Inakahama. Now, I did a little Googling. Inakahama Beach is a beach on Yakushima Island, which is an island, small island south of Kyushu, which is the southernmost main island of Japan. It's over 900 miles away from Tokyo. It's basically on the bottom of Japan.
It's just about as polar opposite as you can get. I mean, Hokkaido and Kyushu.
Why would they go there?
I don't know.
How could they go there? It would take you
days.
A day to get there.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah. So, and a train doesn't go there. You have to take a boat. Yeah. There's just water. So I don't know if this is just if they're worried about the practicalities of this, or if this is just, I mean, that's literally the first thing. If you, Inakahama, the first thing that comes up is Inakahama Beach. So maybe there's another beach that's named that, like, oh, wow, look, it's Malibu Beach in Wisconsin.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But anyway.
Why choose that, though? That's
and the setting kind of matches what you'd think of as like this southern Japanese island in the middle of nowhere. True. So anyway, maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. The brochure that Rei has, she's booked this pension, is really talking it up. It says it's got a private beach. Usagi has these visions of hot dudes, and Motoki's there, and Tuxedo Mask is windsurfing.
I know.
And yes, this is youth. Summer vacation.
Yeah.
Which is just the ongoing refrain from Usagi. She's like, yes, this is youth. Youth. Not wasted on me.
Was she like a vampire or something?
I think that's the wrong kind of youth.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
Anyway, these girls should have Ubered it because now they're lost in a forest looking for this place, and it starts raining. He's like, this isn't youth. This isn't summer vacation. They come across a small girl in a cloak, and Usagi is terrified and get used to it because there's going to be a lot of that in this episode. The girl leads them to a spooky house on a cliff, which I guess this is their pension.
Yes.
And it's spooky.
Yes.
It's actually it's the pension Addams, as in like the Addams family lives there. Yeah. And that's going to be the level of comedy for this episode for the most part. They use the appropriately huge door knocker, and the door's answered with like a hello, hello, hello.
Yes.
With like a vampire-looking girl, a Frankenstein kid, and a werewolf in a butler uniform.
Yep.
And Usagi loses her mind. And again, you should have to imagine her doing this over and over again because this is all I'm going to say otherwise.
We'd have no episode of her.
She does it for every single cue.
Yeah.
And the little girl just walks in past the monsters like NBD. So either they're real monsters and she's like over it, or this is like a Halloween themed hostel. It's probably the second one.
Yes.
Actually, it's the Munsters where everybody's a Halloween monster, but then like the one girl is normal, right? And they're like, we love our ugly daughter.
Right.
Maybe it's more like that, but whatever. If you call it Munsters, it's going to give it away. The monsters are like, come in. And then a creepy, evil-looking dude with a Van Dyke beard and like these dark robes shows up, and he scolds this young girl. Sakiko is her name. He's her father.
Yes.
That's his name. Sakiko's
father. Yes.
He has no name in the episode.
Yes.
Because they really committed to this one.
That's right.
Later on in the girls' room, Usagi is talking to Luna. She's wondering if what if this is a haunted house? And Luna's like, you're talking to a cat. Like, I mean, there's a lot of weird things in your life, but this is just the worst thing ever, I guess. There's a knock on the door, and the vampire lady is there. It's just her head. She's like floating in the darkness, and Usagi freaks out, but then turns out she was just on a step ladder, and she's changing the bulb. It's burnt out in the hallway.
I know.
They don't do quite enough of these to justify. I guess that was like their one shot at like, oh, it's a goofy misunderstanding,
right?
Comedy of errors. But anyway, whatever. It's dinner time.
Yes.
So they go and have dinner. Meanwhile, the father tells Sakiko to stay away from those frivolous girls. The girls are having dinner, they're discussing the food, and they hear a ghostly noise, and everybody jumps up and runs into the hall, and we see a ghostly apparition looking thing floating up the stairs, and even the monster staff is scared. So we know something weird is going on here.
Right.
And Rei says, this should be her thing, she says she doesn't sense an evil spirit, but she does sense some kind of power. So thanks, Counselor Troy. Not a lot of information there. Upstairs, the father is hypnotizing Sakiko with a coin on a string, which is a totally normal thing, and it's a fun father-daughter activity.
Yeah.
And then as we leave that scene, he's like,
yes.
Great. On the beach the next day, it's summer fun time, and Usagi is in the moth suit.
I know.
It's a callback.
I know.
Which is really cute. That's 5 stars.
Yes.
But she's really disappointed. It's a private beach, like the brochure said, but it's because everybody stays away from this creepy ass house.
Yes.
So there's no yachts, there's no dudes. But she's gonna have fun anyway,
Right.
Because she needs to be medicated. This is like a 7, dumb bunny. I think.
All right.
Maybe it's because the episode doesn't go anywhere, but I don't appreciate how dumb she is in this episode.
Fair.
She looks pretty bad. It is funny when she's scared by the hotel staff, but they do it over and over and over.
Yes, they do.
And it does that thing where it's like funny, and then it's like, okay, we get it, and then it's like not funny, and then it kind of starts to come back around, and it's funny again.
Right.
So, but it never really makes it to hilarious. And there's a recurring bit where she gets hit in the face with a beach ball. So,
By both Ray and Ami.
yeah. So... so all the girls are on the beach. They're having fun. Ami has a math book with her. Of course she does. And she says that Sakiko didn't come out of her room this morning, which she thought was weird. But whatever, let's hit Usagi in the face with this ball. We cut to that evening, and we see the Wolfman howling on the roof, which, if it's fake, this is a lot of commitment to this bit. Yeah. And then after he howls, he's like, oh man, I'm so scared. So it paints an interesting picture of the situation here with the staff and their jobs that they have to do here. In the girls' room, Usagi is taking a bath, and it's like... she's just like right there, but like she keeps asking like Luna. She's like, Luna, are you there? Luna, where's Luna?
She doesn't want to be alone.
Yeah. She's like, I'm here. Ray is putting prayer slips on everything in the dining room.
Yes.
And she overhears the staff planning something. They're talking about something. Ami looks out the window. She sees Sakiko standing on the edge of this cliff, which is kind of weird. She comes out to introduce herself, and she's like, hey, are you lonely? Don't worry, I was lonely too when I was your age. Okay, lady.
Yeah, no.
Thanks.
I know.
And she tells her the best thing to do is to be friends with Usagi.
Yeah.
She's a dum-dum.
I think she means she has a lot of fun and she's got a childlike sense of fun, but
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
Childlike, all right. And then Sakiko's father comes running out, and he's like, I thought I told you not to talk to these weirdos. And
Right.
he grabs her and drags her back in the house. He tells Ami that they should leave if they don't want to be frightened.
I know.
Okay,
Like,
is this part of the bit?
What? Yeah.
Is there a show tonight?
Yeah.
We should expect. Sakiko tells him, I only want to be friends with them. You get the idea that she doesn't have any friends. We get it. And he says, look, you've got powerful psychic abilities. You need to learn to master your powerful psychic abilities.
Yes.
So let me hypnotize you again.
Right.
Usagi is scared, and because she's scared, she's wandering around.
Yes.
I don't know.
She's like holding a pillow.
This is not. Do they have Scooby-Doo in Japan? I know you don't have an answer to that, but this is kind of like, I'm so scared, I'm going to just start wandering around.
Right.
Anyway, and she comes down the stairs, and she sees the staff doing a weird ritual with candles and stuff. Which is weird. She's scared. You know the bit by now. They're scared of her.
Right.
I'm scared. Ray comes in to say, hey, what's going on? We're scared of Ray.
Yes.
Everybody's scared of each other. It's great stuff. And then things kick off. Chairs from the dining room table, they fly off and they block the doors, right? There's chairs swirling in the air.
Yes.
It's a real Matilda situation. Upstairs, we're doing the thing, the hypnotizing thing, and he's like, yes, make the form of a ghost. Scare those nosy girls.
Yeah.
Or noisy girls. They're nosy and noisy. Show them that we're not fakes. Well, okay. All right. What's the backstory here? And Ami runs in to see what's going on, and the ghost thing, which is now like this full torso apparition, of like an angry girl or woman or whatever, like blows her back out the door. Then it turns on the dad. And this whole time, Sakiko is just sitting, eyes closed, unconscious in this chair. So the girls transform. Yes. So now an entire hotel full of monsters knows their secret identities. We don't ever really know how this works.
Yeah.
They just transform. So now we've got the sailor team. And we get this like real Charlie's Angels pose.
Yes.
Because they go like, bam, 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 we're going to punish you.
Yeah.
But I'm still scared.
Yeah.
From Usagi. Mercury runs over to wake up Sakiko, which will be the only effective move for the rest of the show.
I know.
The moon tiara action does nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Rei even does anything. Like, there's no fire soul.
No. She
doesn't
did the prayer slips earlier. That's
punch anybody. No,
Yeah.
nothing. So Ami figures out and says as much that the daughter's resentment, is why the ghost is attacking them, and she's attacking the father. It makes sense,
Right.
I guess. So she snaps her out of it, wakes her up. The father apologizes, for working her so hard, and she gives it a blah, psychic blast.
Yeah.
And the ghost is gone.
Right.
And the father later on says, "Yeah, I was trying to train her powers. We'd scare guests that come to the pension," which is great. But that's all done now.
Right.
The next day at the beach, the girls are playing, and Sakiko's included with them. She's playing as well. Hit Usagi in the head with the ball. Everybody's happy. Good time.
Yes.
Didn't love it.
My sentiments exactly.
Hey Trekkies, I'm Caliban.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
And we're the hosts of the new podcast, Backtrekking. I thought that we were going to say it together.
Oh, Backtrekking. Do you want to do it again?
Just don't worry about it. Every week, we look at the real-life inspirations behind classic Star Trek episodes.
The original series, Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, and more. And we're examining the actual events, stories, and concepts that they're based on.
Join us as we go trekking through sci-fi history.
We have a time machine. Let's go back and do the intro again.
Hey Trekkies, I'm Caliban.
Backtrekking!
God damn it!
So for Kyoru Miro, curiously looking around, when we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, I thought we would talk about summer vacation in Japan. So as I said before, it's typically about 40 days or 6 weeks. It usually is from July 20th to August 31st. And it should, I guess, maybe it should be mentioned within the same breath, that the new school year in Japan actually starts in April. So summer vacation comes between the first and second terms of a school year. So they have about 10 days or a week, but winter break and spring break, and the end or the beginning of spring break is when you end one school year, and the end of spring break is when you start a new school year. So you only have about 10 days or a week in between years, which is really different from what we're used to in the U.S.
What?
Yeah.
I'll see you in the next grade.
Right,
in
exactly.
10 days.
Yes.
Okay.
So, it is very common in Japan for teachers to assign homework over the summer break in the hopes that students won't forget what they've already learned.
But not over spring break. Because
no, they can't.
Right.
Because it's...
because some other teacher would be grading it.
Right, exactly. But summer vacation is a very popular time for festivals, street food, and fireworks. You can buy fireworks in a store, and like a lot of places in the U.S., you can set them off yourself. When I was over there one summer, we got fireworks. I think we get it like 2 different times, and we went to an area that was very open and by water, and it was like a cement dam or something like that, and then we would set them off there.
I'd have to imagine, for all the talk about like being considerate and polite in Japan, you don't just like fire Roman candles off in the street like you do in America.
Right. You don't do them in your backyard either, because that's just dangerous.
Yeah.
So yes, and then there are 3 most popular times to travel around Japan throughout the year. As I mentioned, summer vacation being one of the biggest. It's actually sometimes referred to as the Obon holidays, which is the Japanese tradition of worshiping the spirit of your ancestors. Families often get together at some place that is significant for the family, and
Sizzler.
Right.
Oh, sorry, there's Japan. Golden
Right.
Corral.
Yes, and the They go to celebrate their ancestors. The one thing that they often do is they clean up their gravesite. And it's thought that the spirits of the deceased family members are supposed to pay a visit to the household altars that the families have put together to honor them.
Okay, but if it was like her mother's ghost that she was creating, I'm trying to connect.
I see what you're doing.
The show, because Usagi's like summer youth, but she's not thinking that this is right around the time of spirits and your ancestors.
Right.
No,
she's
more
not.
Work than they did. No.
You are doing more work. Yes.
So wait, when does college start then? Because if you don't leave, you don't graduate high school and then 10 days later, I'm in college.
That is a really good question. I'll have to look into that. I gotta stop with my good questions. I think maybe it would be in April, because that would just make sense.
That college starts in April?
Well, yeah, because that's when the new school years all start. So wouldn't it just make sense that that's when college would start too? I will look into that. That's a good question. When does college start in Japan?
So then homecoming in April? I don't think so.
The Obon Festival is something that actually is sometimes celebrated in the U.S. by Japanese families. And it's usually in mid-August. Then there's a week from about April 19th to May 5th this year, which is known as Golden Week, which is multiple continuous national holidays that happen in May.
Whoa.
And then, of course, there's the New Year's holiday. So those are the three most popular times to travel in Japan. And then I thought we could talk very briefly about pensions in Japan, as you brought up. They're typically Western-style family-run homes. They can be kind of similar to, like you said, a hostel or a bed and breakfast.
It's like a European thing.
Yes, it is a European thing. The term comes from the continental European countries, and it's also seen in parts of the Middle East, North Africa, places that have very large expatriate European communities.
Any cosplay ones?
Not that I know of. But so
any werewolves?
Besides breakfast, they also often serve lunch, dinner, and occasionally tea. So, but they're often in countryside or in countryside areas, the mountains, the sea, the ocean, small towns,
a tiny little island
areas.
on the south coast of Japan.
Right, exactly.
Like Dr. No lives.
I know, right? So for this episode, Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? There's a lot of food in this episode.
Yeah.
Usagi has a daydream that Mitoki offers her a fancy tropical-looking drink.
Yeah.
She complains about being hungry once they are at the pension. And then the girls are eating, it looks like steak for dinner.
Yeah, it's some kind of meat.
Yes.
And then they have forks and knives too.
Good point.
So I was wondering if I think it says less about what a pension might be in the south of Japan and more like the whole thing's supposed to be like a gothic sort of feel. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, Jonathan Harker would be served beef, with a fork and knife by Dracula.
Right.
It's sort of like that.
I think you're right.
I don't think they're trying to say like, I got good steak at this
pension.
Japanese pension.
Right. Yeah. I also thought it was interesting. Luna appears to be drinking milk out of a saucer on the table. Yeah, okay. Frankenstein's monster offers them seconds. Usagi is creeped out and refuses.
Right.
But he brings a cart with additional food. Looks like carrots, more steak, and maybe salmon. And then Wolfman offers dessert, and as Usagi again says no,
right,
she must really be creeped out to not be hungry for dessert. Right. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
There looks like there might be ribs on the table too, and then later there is a bowl of fruit on the table, which looks like it has oranges, grapes, and bananas.
Pretty standard.
Yes. My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion in the episode. There's a lot happening in this episode. First, their traveling outfits. Usagi, Rei, and Ami are all outfits that we have seen previously and in other episodes. I do like that touch. I think it was nice that the animators or the director of the anime, what have you, decided to make that decision, because it makes it a little bit more realistic, even though it's an anime, that they would have repeat outfits.
Plus, you're gonna need an artist to draw up some, mock-ups or some what do you call them, sheets, contact sheets or whatever,
right?
Of an entirely new outfit that they're gonna have to animate it and everything like that. Just using the resources that you've already got, like it
That's
just makes
true.
sense.
Yeah,
but also a 14-year-old girl has X amount of clothes in her closet.
Right, exactly. So Usagi is wearing her blue jumper with the white sleeveless shirt and the hoodie and the moon crescent pendant. Rei is wearing her yellow crop top and her blue, it's either, I can't remember if it's shorts or a skirt, but it's got like a crisscross like corset, like lace up in the front.
But when she gets to the hotel, she's
wearing a different outfit.
Pink, it's like a tank top, but it's like the lace, straps. It's got the lace.
Yes. It almost looks like a tennis outfit.
Yeah, you've seen these still exist, but they're all over in the 90s. It's like got the lace or ruffles that are the straps, but it's also around the neck line.
Yeah, it's her neckline and the straps are white and the rest of it is pink, and it's a dress. Yeah, and then Ami is wearing her atrocious like orange short sleeve shirt, her green peasant skirt, added with a white belt this time.
The lady at the store lied to you. I mean,
she's not cute.
No.
And then she's wearing her orange and white polka dot headband and a straw hat.
Right.
Because that's not enough. Yeah, and then we get the people who are working at the Addams pension. So, I'm not entirely sure if they're... I think they're costumes, but what you mentioned with the Wolfman actually howling on the roof, it's a little like what's real and what's not here. But, like, the vampire lady is kind of wearing, like, this green, like, cloak-type one-piece dress thing. Frankenstein's monster is in this pink number. It's just all pink. And the Wolfman, most stylish of them all, is wearing a suit with a vest and a bow tie. Yeah. So he's like super fancy.
He's the porter, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Sakiko, who is basically wearing like a navy blue robe with a white/pink collar hood. And then her dad is dressed very similarly except in black with like a green collar. And then later we see Ami's like outfit is like once they get to the pension is like this sleeveless blue dress with white accents. And then of course their swimsuits.
Are they the same swimsuits as the photo shoot fresh episode?
Ami and Rei were not at that. That was Naru and Miss Haruna.
Oh, that's right.
So it is Usagi's suit from before, and then this is the first time we've seen Rei and Ami in suits. And Ami is wearing a blue and white striped suit. Rei has an orange and red suit that's sleeveless and has little cutouts on the sides. Very cheeky, very Rei. And then Sakiko is wearing a little red one piece with a yellow bow at the front. So, and now we are at, I think for the second time in a row, the problematic villain gauge, rate a baddie, 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. This is not a youma. This is not Nephrite.
Not a youma. Yeah, this is not My Beautiful House.
Yeah, exactly.
So who is it? Is it Sakiko?
Well, that's just the thing.
Is it Sakiko's unconscious, like her?
I think it's her unconscious,
her dark side,
yeah.
Or is it the father for orchestrating this entire situation in the first place?
Well, yeah, I know.
And the best part is,
what?
I did look at the wiki Sailor Wiki page for this episode.
Sure,
we're never going to see these dildos again. This is it.
I know.
I was thinking maybe
it'd be a callback.
Yeah, in Sailor Moon S or something like that. It's like now Sakiko's in junior high, and it's like,
I see what you're saying.
Boy, this monster's too tough. We need a powerful psychic.
Yeah.
But no, these we'll never see these idiots ever again.
Yeah. It's disappointing, isn't it?
Incomplete.
Incomplete.
It has to be.
I think you're right.
Yeah, this is
we
just
have
a
to
weird.
Do it again.
There better be a monster next week. We're just in this weird sort of lacuna where there's just no monsters.
I agree. It's weird.
There's-
It's really weird.
There is a thing. I mean, this is a psychic thing, right? Like the idea of like a tulpa or something like that, where you
I think I've ever heard of that word before.
or like Professor X did this in the cartoon before they had Onslaught in the comics. I think they were actually ripping off the cartoon. So nice work, comics. But where like Professor X is this very powerful psychic, but like, you know, what if he can't control it? You know, what if like he has this amazing control, but this is a tempting power, and then he's also, you know, also so noble all the time. He must have some impulses that he
represses,
sort of
or
represses,
something.
and so what if they get out, and then there's like an evil, you know, psychic
Version of
thought
him
form
or something?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like going off and doing bad stuff.
Okay, that's an interesting way to take it.
Although her father literally cultivated this power, like he got the fire
Yeah.
starter, and he's like, start the fires, like he's
Yeah.
so. Then he just gets off the hook at the end.
I know.
Shouldn't he have been like falling off the cliff or something like that?
Well, I think he gets forgiven because he apologizes.
Well, I'm glad that he's forgiven, but
I
what is
know.
he doing with this little girl?
He's
the villain.
Honestly, I have to say, I think that is why they didn't include it in the dub.
Because there's a weird familial.
I think Sakiko's dad made her work on her psychic powers, even though she hates it. It's bordering sometimes on child abuse, I think.
Yeah, but the thing that I just described was on the X-Men 90s cartoon.
I know.
At the same time on TV.
I know. So
They just didn't want to copy the X-Men.
who's really the monster here?
Who's the monster here?
I did want to mention, as you alluded to before, the vacation pension being named Addams is a reference to the Addams Family, because of course it is. And then the
But
monsters.
it's not even the Addams Family.
I know. And then the monsters are a reference to the Munsters TV show.
You can't do both.
They're doing both.
But you can't.
That's what they were doing.
You have to pick one.
This is why it's just an incomplete, right? I mean,
I guess. Is the dad, like, is he a specific reference, or is it just the sort of like Svengali-esque kind of?
I think the latter.
Okay.
I don't think he's a reference because you look at everyone else and they're the monsters.
Is Sakiko a regular name?
Yeah, it's a Japanese name. Yeah.
Okay. Because maybe maybe she was supposed to be Firestarter, Drew Barrymore or something like that.
Okay, maybe I will look up and
I
see if
wouldn't worry
there's
about it.
any famous
I don't
Sakikos.
want to talk about this episode ever again.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, that means we are getting up to our rating, 1 to 5 thrown roses, and our English titles. So the Sailor Scouts did next to nothing in this episode. They didn't really feel like a Sailor Moon episode.
Ami woke a little girl up.
Yeah. So I'm afraid I am going to have to give this one 1 out of 5 thrown roses.
I can't go that low.
Really?
I'll give it a 2.
Wow. Generous.
Like I said, I don't think I had to watch it twice for this. I don't think I'll ever watch it ever again.
Yeah.
But, the comedy bits
Okay.
grow on you a little bit.
Sure.
I do like the idea of, it is a good setup. It's a spooky hotel where everybody that works there is terrified of a real ghost.
Yeah, all
But
right.
like I said, I would watch that if it was a different show.
Yes.
But why is it in my Sailor Moon?
Yeah, I guess
You got
exactly.
your poop in my peanut butter.
Gross.
But there's some kind of funny bits, and it's just the escalating, like, and
Yeah, all right. That part was all right. I didn't mind that.
it was okay.
Yeah.
So I can't go to the bottom. I'll give it 2.
Okay. My English title for this episode is Ghost House Creep.
Ghost House Creep.
Yes.
Don't order seconds, Usagi.
No dessert for me.
Oh, boy. You know what it is. You already know what the deep title is.
I don't.
Summertime Blues.
Oh, no! I should have guessed that!
Yep.
Oh!
That's what it
I
is.
can't unhear it now.
Writes itself.
Oh, Oh my goodness. Oh.
This job's easy.
Wow. Yeah. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 21. Kodomo tachi no yume mamore, anime ni musubu yujo in Japanese, or Protect the Children's Dreams, Friendship Through Anime, the English translation,
Whoa.
and the English title, An Animated Mess.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
That's so weird. I can't get mad at it. It's an animated mess? What?
Yes.
Is that an expression that I don't
No, I
know
don't think
about?
so. I don't think so.
This place is an animated mess. That's not a thing, is it?
I don't think so.
Okay, well I'll have to fix it.
Yes, you will.
I like how I'm the Mr. Mistopheles. Oh well, no, that's a cat.
Ooh.
I'm actual Mephistopheles.
Oh, okay.
Mephistopheles? Maybe I'm just the cat. I don't know. But like, I'm the one who comes in and is like, no, you just have to do a dumb pun. They're like, well, we think we've moved past dumb pun. You're doing a dumb pun. They've made me what I hate now.
Yes.
So I'm gonna take it to them.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yes. Well, that's our show for this week. In the Name of the Moon, we'll be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Yes, this is youth.